Welcome to the Sonny Hirsch Election Special. The reason this is not part of the regular Northtown News Magazine show is because we completely booked up those slots. If you're watching online, this will air before the election, and if you check my Facebook page or our website, ntnm.org, you'll be able to see what times all these different shows will be on, and we're going to wind up doing 5 or 6 special shows in total. I want to thank Sonny Hirsch, first of all, for producing these shows. I'm Avi Myers, your host. And as many of you know, we do a lot of concentration on the judicial elections. It's something that is so uncovered. A judge can affect your life much more than a regular politician. And, you know, you think about your house, your family, your freedom, that of your families. I mean, it can just touch just about every part in the race. And it's unfortunate that 20% of you who vote don't even wind up voting in the judicial races. So I always urge people up front to start on the bottom of the ballot and vote for the important judicial races first. And then afterwards, they can go to the unimportant races like President of the United States that won't affect their life as much as a judge possibly could. I have 2 very distinguished guests here, and it is a real pleasure. And they came through last minute, and I want to thank everybody involved. I think it's Ellie and Michael for helping me out. What the lady's name?
Paula Dalio?
Paula Dalio set it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, I am honored to have the Chief Justice of Cook County, Timothy Evans, and a judge elected in the 9th Sub-Circuit, who a lot of you know very well, is Judge Steve Bernstein. Judge Evans, thank you so much for being here. Judge
pleasure.
Bernstein,
A pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for the invitation to be here. It's a fantastic opportunity. We appreciate it very much.
I'm very glad. I'm very happy about it. And you guys are both on the retention ballot this year.
Yes, we are, along with a total of 58 of us. And as you properly point out, most people don't know our names and necessarily the interest that we bring to this election process. But I appreciated your emphasizing the need to ask them to vote for us and to vote yes for all of those of us who are running. And I'll tell you why. Judges who are running for retention, first of all, have a marvelous background. They all have a doctorate degree, a Juris Doctorate. And they have the most experience of all the judges who are running. All the judges running for retention have served at least 6 years. In my case, I've served 24 years. And so it's a broad base of experience. For example, I've been a motion judge, a trial judge, a supervising judge. I've been the presiding judge who is the chief judge over the Domestic Relations Division. I've been the presiding judge, the chief judge over the Law Division. And I have been the chief judge of the Circuit Court of Cook County for 15 years. Yet, I have to run for retention just like everybody else. And that's a privilege to be able to do it. But most people don't know these are not elections in the true sense of the word. These are retention. We run on our own record. And normally, if you run for an election, you win with 50% plus 1 vote. But for retention, you have to have 60% of the vote. And it's not an easy thing if people start, as you indicated, most do, the beginning of the ballot, and you get to the end of the ballot and they see 58 names that they don't necessarily know, they tend not to spend the extra time. So for you to take time to have Steve and me on to represent our 58 colleagues, I'm very, very grateful, as I'm sure he is, and it's a thrill to be with you today.
First of all, thank you, and the thrill is definitely mine. And I'd also like to let you, the audience, know that in Jewish Chicago, we do a very thorough coverage of the judicial races. And, you know, and my opinions are, I'm not the one doing the judging, so to speak, of the judges. I actually have a panel of highly rated legal experts and judges that I've gathered over the years who actually do the voting. The bar ratings are the secondary consideration. And I very rarely, I found out the hard way when I made a choice of somebody who got into a scandal the day after I endorsed them.
Oh, my goodness.
That I need expert help. It's not such a simple thing deciding who's going to be a better judge.
Well, the bar associations that you reference certainly do a fantastic job. You have the Chicago Bar, you have the Alliance of Bar Associations, and you have the Suburban Bar Coalition, and they all take the time to interview each one of us. And I will say that every judge running for retention has gone through the bar review process and has been given a good, favorable rating by one of the bars or more. Many of us have been lucky enough to have all the bars recommend us. But to go through the system that you described and to come here knowing that there will be an additional judicial review, I appreciate you taking the time to pursue that. Justice is required by any good judicial branch, and that's what we want to do, provide fairness and justice for all those who come before, those of us who have the privilege of wearing the robe. And I thank you for your willingness to invite us to be here today.
Well, thank you. And actually, it's judges that found me. And, you know, I always like to find a niche that no one else has. When I was in the graphic business, I had the only Hebrew typesetting outside of New York and Israel in the world.
Wow.
And I would even do things like feed grain labels for export to Israel. You know, it's like, you got to have a niche in business.
How did you get that niche, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, the Hebrew typesetting?
Yes.
Oh, well, I was doing books for Jewish charities. See, I would take me, out of a month, it would take me a week and a half to put together Jewish Chicago, leaving me 2.5 weeks to be able to do business outside of Jewish Chicago. And I advertised in Jewish Chicago, so the people that came to me were day schools and synagogues.
I see.
And general institutions.
They knew about your niche, obviously.
So, well, they read the paper was very popular. Being popular is not that rough. Making money is much rougher. That's a whole... But I had, you know, after 18 months, I had 5,000 paid subscribers.
Wow. And,
you know, you could get the, you had a barcode on there. I mean, you could go to any newsstand or the Jewel or whatever and pick the paper up and scan. I even did it myself once and went and scanned the barcode just for the thrill of it, even though it cost me money.
Sounds like you had the expertise to do it from start to finish. That's wonderful.
Well, I enjoy it, you know, and the fact is, it's like it really it's such a simple thing. Well, you got to be able to read Hebrew, but you know, after 13 years of school, I hope so. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. But let's get back to the judicial thing.
My friend Steve Bernstein is here. He's running on the same ticket as I am.
Correct.
He's one of the 58 judges that I referenced, and maybe he could share with you some of his background and experience.
Well, unlike Tim, who's been on for 24 years, this is my first retention. I've been on 6 years.
And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I want to say I hear so many good things about you from people who yell at me about what I wrote. So
you're talking to my mother again, Abby. At 102 years young, she still watches your show.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, she should live a nice, long life.
She's already there, but thank you. Well, I will give her your wishes.
As we say in Hebrew, she can go further.
That's right. So long as she's healthy and happy. No, it's my service started in the traffic court, where most of us do start. And I did that, traffic cases, driving under the influence cases. And for the past 2 years plus, I've been riding a circuit in the juvenile delinquency court. And I service all the suburban courts with the exception of Markham, where we have a full-time jurist sitting. But I'm loving it. And it's an honor to serve the people of the 9th Ward and the people of the county of Cook and the state of Illinois.
No, listen, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm glad it's working out well for you.
So far.
Oh, thank God. And so there's a total of 58, is it?
Yes, 58 of us running, and each one of us has to receive a yes vote in order to be able to survive. And as I indicate, we have to have 60% of those yes votes, and that's not easy. No matter the value of our service, trying to have people take the time to punch yes for each one of us after they've gone through, as you indicate, the presidential race and all the other elected positions, the congressional races, the state's attorney, the races dealing with state representatives and senators. All of those races are very important, and most of the people have recognizable names. They've been on television, maybe been on your show and other shows. But judges who run for retention are running on a nonpartisan basis. That is to say, we hope to be the judges who are retained by Democrats, Republicans, independents, people who may have one point of view politically or another. We run on our record, and we hope that people will take the time, even if they don't know our names necessarily, even if they don't know our faces, for them to take the time to vote yes for each one of us. We want to keep well-educated judges who have a broad base of experience. We want to have people feel comfortable resolving their cases by bringing their cases to court, not resolving disputes in the street. And the way you can do that is to have experienced, qualified, capable judges who can resolve these matters expeditiously and fairly. And I think experience means a lot. And the state legislature has decided that we can run on our own records in this retention system that we are talking about. But we have to depend upon journalists like you who are willing to give us an opportunity to let our lights shine, so to speak, and ask the residents of this community to take the time to vote yes for each one of us, and it means a lot.
No, and I hope you do take the time. And, you know, this year there are very few contested races on the ballot. You know, in so many cases there is no competition, so if you just concentrate on the races that have competition and the judicial races, it's not that hard. And, you know, besides for picking up Jewish Chicago, and you can catch it online, and the actual website for Jewish Chicago is aviworld.com. You'll see you can catch the bar ratings on the web. You can, these days, if you Google things, you'd be amazed what you could find. And we do our best to represent those ratings when we talk about judges in contested races. And we also have our panel going through the retention judges. And, you know, I'm not going to be finished with the panel till the end of the week, but so far I have not heard a negative word about any of the 58, by the way, just for your own information.
Well, we're happy to hear that, and I appreciate you passing that along to your viewers so that they will be comfortable, I suppose, since they are accustomed to listening to you and your recommendations. Right. That means a lot to us.
Right.
Yeah, no, I hope that, listen, there'll be a full review in the paper. It's just that with all the Jewish holidays, you have no idea how busy things are, plus the TV show. And in any event, and like I said, catch Jewish Chicago online. And if you go to our website at ntnm.org, you can catch judicial interviews. Matter of fact, if you actually went back 6 years, you'd find interviews with a lot of the judges who are running for retention this time.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
So,
or 12 years, likewise.
Yeah.
You've been at this a while.
Yes, I have. And
I was trying to convince him to consider going to law school.
Not too late.
Yeah, I told him that 1/3 of the law school classes are filled with individuals who've had careers in journalism and medicine and accounting and other things, but they realize that they can do even more with that law degree in helping people who desperately need it. I'm not sure I convinced him, but he at least listened to me.
We'll work on
it turned my head a little bit, because the truth is, there are times when I really want to fight for somebody.
Yes.
Because I like fighting the good fight. I don't like fighting for fighting's sake. And you need to be a lawyer sometimes to be an effective warrior.
I must tell you, he's served as a juror for us already. He's got a chance to see Judge Mike Panter when Judge Panter was serving on the bench, and also Judge Diane Cannon.
Okay, two good people.
He's had some good experiences, and so we haven't lost him yet. We might nevertheless get
I even have a certificate from Diane Cannon, by the way. She gave us all certificates afterwards for being on the jury, which is very nice of her.
Well, I think if you look at that, you'll see my signature on there, too.
It is there, you're right. Oh, and by the way, make sure you go to jury duty, and This isn't the only place you can see Judge Evans on TV. When you're preparing in the juror room for what you're about to experience, there's a video of him talking.
And that's a good point. We want residents of this community to feel free to come to jury duty. They don't have to have the vast experience that they think they'll ultimately need, because, as you point out, we teach them what their responsibilities might be. And we do it through the video, but also the judge that they will be working with will also explain the laws that will be used to apply the laws to the facts. And so it's very important that jurors come. And I say that even though the amount that they get for serving, very small, $17.20. And I don't mind telling you, we've been
there was
trying
a raise?
Well, there was a raise, and then it was eliminated recently. But the amount that they earn does not reflect in any way the value of their service. They help us resolve cases quickly, expeditiously, and fairly. And I hope your listening audience and your viewing audience will realize how much we value their work as jurors.
I will tell you something. Even though I very much have my own opinions, as anybody who's watched the show knows, when I was serving on a jury and we were getting instructions, I understood that I had to follow the law. Mm-hmm. That's why I was there. And, I've had judges come on, too, and say things like, well, I may have my own opinion on something, but that's not my job as a judge. Yeah. My job as a judge is to make sure that the law is upheld.
That's right. And to have that law applied to the facts, they put their own personal opinions on the shelf as they apply the law to the facts and reach we hope, a just decision in every time they have a case like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and by the way, it does take a certain talent to reach a just decision, because it's something not just anybody can do. Well. Some people stand out more than others, and that's one of the reasons it pays to do your homework. And I'm not talking about retention judges in this case, although it always pays to do your homework there too, but in the judicial races themselves, because if your family or you should appear before that judge and you don't have a good one, you're not going to be real happy.
That's true. That is true. The position is a part of our three branches of government, the legislative branch and the executive branch most people know about, but the judicial branch can protect those residents and citizens from excesses by the executive branch and the legislative branch. We work for the public that we're talking about, and we protect their rights, and it's a very important responsibility, even if the world doesn't necessarily know our names and our faces as much.
No, there's no question about it, how important it is. Is there some sort of committee or website for the judicial retention judges?
2016 judicialretention.com.
2016 judicialretention.com, and I'm sure it's 2016.
Yes, correct.
And not the other spelled out things. I want to thank you so much. This was an unexpected pleasure to have both of you here today. And this is Chief Justice of Cook County, Timothy Evans. I hope you'll be able to grace us again.
I'll look forward to it.
On the show, I would very much like that.
Thank you for the invitation to be here today.
And thank you. And I want to also thank and I want to congratulate on his first term. And everybody tells me nothing but good things about you as a judge, by the way.
For which I'm grateful, Avi. Thank
you.
So
I'm definitely voting to retain you. That's Judge Steve Bernstein, and you too, with Judge Evans, by the way. That's not even a question.
He was just retained by a vote of our totality of the judges.
We got three. So we got 58 of you guys, and there's one of me. That's 59 to zip. That'll do it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, and thank you so much, Sonny Hirsch, everybody.
Thank you.
Join us. There are a number of these election specials. Join us on the web, and please watch as many as you possibly can. It's important to know what you're doing before you go into that polling place.
Amen.